Breaking aviation news.
Thank you for tuning in. This is your captain speaking. Today our lead story is about two bodies that were found.
Wait a minute. Wait, first of all, you're not going to speed past that like you didn't just say what you just said.
In the wheel well of a JetBlue flight that landed in Fort Lauderdale today. The bodies were pronounced dead on the scene. This happened today, late Monday afternoon. Bodies were discovered after a routine after-flight check. Those bodies have not yet been identified. This is the second time in less than a month that bodies have been found in the wheel well of aircraft that has after it has landed at its destination. Just a couple of weeks ago, this happened, and a body was found on a flight from Chicago to Maui, Hawaii, and a body was found there. Also deceased, pronounced deceased on arrival. This is becoming something of a crisis, so to speak, because it brings into mind the questions of security in and around the airports. With the couple of stowaways that have been found on Delta flights recently. Recently, most pronounced was the Russian stowaway that got on a flight out of JFK going to Paris, and she was able to evade security, as well as she was able to get around not only the initial security checkpoint, but she was able to get around the security at the gate and actually was able to board on the flight. This also highlights a security breach that should be a concern for all travelers and airlines alike, because this should not be happening.
He ain't lying.
People should not be able to actually get inside the wheel wells of aircraft where they can stow away, and it's quite dangerous. It's very infrequent that someone is able to survive in these locations on the aircraft, mainly because they're unpressurized, and when they get to high altitudes, the lack of oxygen, as well as the extreme cold temperatures, and they can also be crushed when the landing gear is retracted and put back into position. It brings to mind of what can be done to secure these areas around the airports and around the gates, that people are evading security and being able to get on these aircraft undetected some kind of way, and only being found later, either deceased, or in the case of the stowaways that have hidden inside the aircraft, where they hidden in the lavatories, or just taken vacant seats that someone is not sitting in. But the security of TSA with respect to inside the airports, those are loopholes that definitely needs to be closed, because there is a huge gap in security. How people are evading, whether they're slipping by the barriers, or they're actually getting through security and someone is not checking IDs properly or checking their boarding passes, as things are becoming more automated, where they're just relying on someone just scanning their ID and then allowing them to proceed without checking to see if they actually have a ticket. Those type of things should be addressed very quickly, because these incidents are starting to happen more frequently. It's a concern to myself as a traveler, as well as myself as an air operator, operating aircraft, both privately and commercially. This is something that I think TSA and other government agencies need to pay particularly attention to. Going on further with this, this is something that TSA can address. They just have to take the initiative and listen to some of the air carriers suggestions as well as traveler suggestions, because we see certain things that maybe that they're not particularly paying attention to. As a frequent traveler, we kind of see things that maybe the security agencies overlook because they're doing it from a distance and just doing it from a sense of what they think transpires. But from a practical standpoint, travelers can also write to the TSA and to the different agencies such as the FAA and make recommendations of what we see that could be corrected and implemented. Because, as I said, not only is it dangerous, as these two people were killed in this incident. This flight originated out of New York JFK and landed in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And as I said, they were found on a post-maintenance check that is done after the aircraft lands, and they just kind of check over the aircraft to see if there's anything that has happened to the aircraft before the next flight. And that's when they discovered these two bodies. So this is something that I am really focused on and looking at from a safe operator standpoint, and as well as I said, looking at it as the security risk, because people are getting into controlled areas. The aircraft had to be on the ground. Somehow or another, they were able to evade multiple layers of security and be able to climb up into the wheel well of an aircraft that's on the ground. And while it taxied out, getting ready for it to take off and all these things, and get in a position that they could be inside this aircraft in an area on a tarmac that is usually pretty busy, particularly out of JFK. That's a busy airport. They should have been caught on either security camera or by ground patrol security. It's a really concern that was able to be done. As I said, the investigation is ongoing onto how they were able to successfully get in position and get on these aircraft, get on this particular aircraft. And as the more information comes in and get the names of the victims that were killed in this incident, we will pass that information along. And when we post this on YouTube, as you know, we also follow up our live reporting with posting on YouTube. As we get more information, we will include that information in our YouTube report. Moving on to our aircraft of the week. It is a 2012 Bell 407 GX. It has 1,754 total flight hours. Aircraft registration is November 469 Echo Papa. The asking price is $2,900,000. It is being sold by ECS Leasing LLC. You can reach them at 551-209-0678.
Even here with something.
This is Vertical Aviation News Network. This has been your captain speaking. And as always, safe travels.